PRINCE2 is an amazing project methodology. Right? PRINCE2 is a project methodology. It tells us how to run projects, how to solve projects successfully. The name of the course is Managing Successful Projects, right? So it is pitched at the project manager's level. The course is going to teach us how to become a successful project manager and run projects. Now, this has been, how do I say, invented or put together in the UK in somewhere in the late 80s. When some people in the commerce department questioned as to why some projects are successful, when possibly the people working on the projects were, not working very hard. On the other hand, certain projects where brilliant people were running were not successful. So therefore, a committee was instituted to check into what is it that made projects successful. And this committee did an amazing work. They studied over 500 projects. Most of them were successful, some were unsuccessful. And they put together what were the common features in successful projects, and they connected all of them together, and that became the do's. Similarly, they identified what were the common things in unsuccessful projects. Those became the don'ts. So this is what is the start or the basis of PRINCE2. PRINCE2 is an acronym for projects in a controlled environment. Now, the good thing about PRINCE2 for most of us is that there is no mathematics. There is no mathematics, there is no formula, there is nothing to apply. We just follow what successful projects have done. Right? So this is what makes PRINCE2 very easy to learn, very easy to understand, and to run projects on PRINCE2, I would presume, is also easy. There are other project methodologies, like the Americans follow the PMP method. Very complicated, and lots of Americans and Canadians, companies have started falling back to PRINCE2. Now, what is a project? Project methodology, and all these have been explained very well by Adi. I would like to introduce to you that to run PRINCE2, 7 principles have been laid down. What are principles? Principles are like the 10 commandments. For Christians, a commandment guides us. It tells us what not to do. And there is no way a Christian can violate any of the 10 commandments. Similarly, in PRINCE2, there are these 7 principles which guide us to the end of a successful project. And we as PRINCE2 practitioners cannot violate any of the 7 principles. Apart from the 7 principles, there are 7 themes. Themes, Adi did allude to them. Quality is a theme. Cost is a theme. Timelines, scope, these are all themes. Now, these themes are like the ingredients of a project. And the third is there are 7 processes. Very easy to remember, 7 principles, 7 themes, and 7 processes. Processes are the actually step by step how do we reach our destination. A little while ago, Addy had flashed a slide which showed the 7 steps in a waterfall method, right? Those are the 7 steps of processes. Now, why are these processes, themes, and principles important? And I would like to explain it by a simple method of baking a cake. Yes, it is as simple as that, baking a cake. Now, maybe in the 1950s, when I was growing up in India, there were no bakeries. So our mothers had to bake their own cakes. They had to bake their own bread. So I used to be very fascinated by her baking of cakes. And I would tell her that the next time or every time you bake a cake, you let me come. I will also like to learn how to bake it. So every time that I entered the kitchen, the first thing that my mother would tell me is that wash your hands. Noble, wash your hands. Right? Now, maybe 60 years on, my mother is no longer there. If I have to bake a cake, subconsciously, I go and wash my hands first. So to me, washing the hands before baking a cake is a principle which I cannot violate. I associate baking a cake or a good cake coming up if I wash my hands, right? So principles are like this, which cannot be violated. The second aspect is the ingredients of the cake. We all know to bake a cake, we need 6 or 7 ingredients: the flour, the eggs, the butter, a little bit of milk, maybe baking soda. So all these are ingredients. They are like the themes in a project, right? So ingredients are like the themes on a PRINCE2 project. All the 7 themes have to be there. A little while back, I mentioned to you that cost is a theme, quality is a theme. So these have to be there in our project. I cannot do away with any of the themes. But what I can do is, at the beginning of a project, I can give more importance to some theme. Maybe in the middle of the project, I can give greater importance to some other theme. And in the end, I can give importance to different sets of themes. Right? Just like in baking a cake, if I add more baking soda, maybe I'll get a spring, a cake which is more fluffy. If I want a chocolate cake, I add a little bit of cocoa. So this is what is the project all about. You got 7 ingredients, 7 themes, like the quality, cost, time, scope, risk, and so on. All have to be there, but I can get different priorities at different points in time. Third are the 7 processes. 7 processes are step by step reaching the destination. In baking a cake, I get the ingredients together. That's like planning. What Addy alluded to, the initiation, the starting up and initiation, getting all the ingredients together, making a plan. Right? And then the execution. Once you got the plan in place, we have shared the plan. We have delegated the plan with all the members of the team. Then the project begins. So, project of baking a cake begins. I mix the ingredients together. That is one of the steps. And then bake it or whatever. So, step by step, the cake is baked. So, in this example of baking a cake, I have explained to you the 3 important things in a PRINCE2 project. The principles, the themes, and the processes. Now, I have been given 10 minutes, maximum 15, but this, what we are today explaining to you, would be explained in a course to you over 2 days. 2 days would mean 8 hours per day, 16 hours of contact training is what, and along with the book, along with the slide, we will explain to you the entire PRINCE2, the theoretical part of it. So the theoretical part of PRINCE2 or the academic part of PRINCE2 would be explained over 2 days of a course. Right? That is the, and then you prepare for about 7 to 10 days of preparation would be required. We will give you sample tests, mock tests, so that you prepare yourself for the exams. And within 7 days or max 10 days of having done the course, you would be fit to appear for the exam. Exams would be of 60 minutes duration. They will all be explained to you on the course. And I guarantee that by, we'll make it such that you all qualify on the exams and you'll get the certification of having passed PRINCE2. This certification is valid in all the countries. I would say the European countries which use PRINCE2, in Canada, Australia, India, South Africa, and I could go on and on. So PRINCE2 is one of the most sought after certifications for, having been a theoretic academic person qualified. The second part of the PRINCE2, which again takes 2 days, is called practitioner. Practitioner is not an advanced course. Practitioner is the ability to use the theoretical knowledge which you have gained in foundation and apply it to live practical situations. So practitioner is like application and foundation is like the theoretical. Right? So on the next 2 days, as far as the practitioner is concerned, we will go over many, many live situations. We will solve them together. And that would also be a revision of PRINCE2, because when you're applying it, you keep learning more and more about PRINCE2. Again, there would be an exam and there would be a certification for having passed the practitioner. The next thing I would say is PRINCE2 expects us to use a common language. So if you're doing a PRINCE2 project in Nigeria, right? Because today these projects are global. You could have a project taking place in London, but one of the teams of the project could be working out of India or working out of Nigeria. So on a project, you may have a team working out of India, another team working out of Lagos, right? So the English which I speak in India may be a little different from what you speak in Nigeria. But there should be no misunderstanding. There should be no communication errors. So PRINCE2 has a set of about 400 terminologies, which all PRINCE2 practitioners, wherever they are in the world, should use. And that would reduce the misunderstanding. The next thing is PRINCE2 also gives authority to the project manager. PRINCE2 gives authority to the project manager to tinker, to change some things in PRINCE2. Remember, anything which is made in England is very rigid. PRINCE2 is a very rigid and structured methodology. But tailoring is what gives authority to the project manager to change some part of PRINCE2 to suit the local environment of the project. Now, there would be 26 documents which you got to maintain when running a project. The correct name which Addy had used is, they are called management products, but they are like 26 documents. Now, if you run these 26 documents, we would achieve something called good governance. The project would be governed well. It would be smooth and it will ensure that the products are created in the right sequence. The other thing I would like to say is, whatever be the end product is called project product. Remember, in the definition of the project has to deliver a project product, right? So what the project has to deliver at the end of its life, which may be 1 year, it may be 6 months, is called the project product. And how does the project deliver it? A project manager, on a drawing board or whatever, he breaks the project product into as many small parts or components as possible. So if I were to create a bicycle, if that is my project product, I would break it up into maybe 20, maybe 26 small parts. We all understand it could be a pedal, it could be a ball bearing, a third could be the chain assembly, fourth can be the sprocket wheel, next could be the wheel rim, the spokes, the tire, the tube, the handlebar, the frame, the seat. I can go on and on. So I could break the project product, which is the bicycle, into 20, 26 parts. And each of these parts is called a specialist product, a component. And each specialist part would be created by somebody called the team manager. So if I have got 20 components, there'll be 20 team managers. And each team manager is like an engineer. They are creating it in a workshop, right? The project may be run in London, but the sprocket wheel may be made in Lagos. Maybe the frame may be made in India. Maybe the tire may be made in Malaysia. Projects these days are global projects. So wherever they're able to create it of that quality at the right cost and within the right time, they would be awarded the contract. The contract in PRINCE2 is called a work package, right? So the work package gives the design. It will give all the specifications, all the quality, the time, when will it be tested for quality, all those would be given in a work package. So work package is like a contract document, which the project manager gives it to a team manager. If I'm the project manager, right? And if Addy is the team manager making the sprocket wheel, I will give him work package number 1. And if he agrees with all the terms and conditions, he will start manufacturing it. Maybe he'll be given 8 weeks, 10 days, 10 weeks to create that specialist product. Once all those 26 specialist products are created, we come to you may remember the word, closing of the project. At that point in time, each of these 26 specialist products are assembled together. And then we get a completed bicycle, which is to be given to the operations. I heard Addy mention this, operations people. They are the guys, because what we make in the project is a prototype, which will be approved by the user. And mass scale production will be made as part of the operations, right? In work, business as usual, that they will make it. Now, let me again highlight something else. The team managers are technical people. They create something of value, right? So look at them as engineers. So the people who create this in PRINCE2 are called as suppliers. There was, a diagram shown by Addy, which had 3 circles: business, customer, and supplier. Right? These are the 3 major interests on a PRINCE2 project. So the supplier is the guy who's creating products of value. It's the supplier who creates the tire. He's a supplier who creates maybe stainless steel. The best things are made in Sheffield. So maybe the handlebar may be made in Sheffield. So these people who are creating these specialist products are called suppliers. I call them team manager. but they are from the supplier side of it. Customers, another name is users, end users. Users are the guys who are going to use the bicycle. Right? Now, amazing thing about PRINCE2 is the users and suppliers and the business have been brought together because the interests of the supplier are different. And the supplier would want to supply low quality product and to make as much money out of the project. A user would like to get high quality at the least cost. So when you put them on a common table and very high people from the supplier, the user, and the business, and make them accountable for delivering the bicycle, they will all work together and they'll put the interest of the project first and they'll create a top-class project product, a bicycle. But that's not all. You know, the user wants a quality. So therefore, at every stage in PRINCE2, remember I said quality is a theme. It is an ingredient. So at every stage, so at the beginning, there'll be no quality. But as the specialist products keep getting created, the quality assurance, the people who do the inspection of quality in PRINCE2 are called quality assurance. And those people would inspect each and every part at different time frames for their quality. Similarly, the completed project product would also be subjected to all the quality tests and quality inspections. An interesting term was used by Addy called business case. You know, in the definition of PRINCE2, there was a last word with the business case. Business case, I explained to students as it is profit. There is no point in undertaking a project. You know, project is a very complicated, it is, you know, group of people working together. There may be 26, 30 people on a project working together for 6 months, for 1 year. For what? They have to make a profit for the company. Now in England, they don't want to use the word profit, but in India, we use the word profit because that explains the essence of the meaning of it. So in England, they use the word called return on investment or business case. So return on investment, business case, and profit mean about the same thing. Business case is very important in a PRINCE2 project. There is no point in running a project, working so hard, using resources, and then not making adequate return on investment. So right at the beginning of the project, as part of the definition of the project, it will say that this project, you will earn a return on investment of 15% or whatever. So let's keep that in mind. And all these together. Now, I think I have covered most of what I was wanting to do. Should there be any questions, please put it on the chat box. Towards the end, we will try to answer them. Thank you very much. I conclude with saying that PRINCE2 is an amazing project methodology technique, and it is very easy for us. You could be a graduate in commerce, you could be a graduate in engineering, you could be a graduate in arts. You can still understand and implement PRINCE2. With that, I will conclude. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.